On this episode of Then You Ruined It, Jason fights to defend the sanctity of his home, and Steve fights to maintain the sanctity of his carpet.
So we've been living in this house for almost a month now, and I would say it's probably got about the same amount of like woods surrounding us and those areas. And you know, when you have those, you always get little visitors, you get little insects and everything, maybe big insects, and Lord knows what else, you know, there's always surprise. It's like, oh, this house has snakes, by the way. Really? Snakes get in the house? That sucks. I wish I'd known that when I bought it. Well, you didn't ask. Okay, well, fair play. I didn't think to ask about the snakes.
Jason, I warned you when you started looking for a house. You ask about ghosts, you ask about earthquakes, and you ask about snakes. And coyotes. I
haven't heard any coyotes around this area. There were around our old house. I think I even heard reports about like some of the little dogs like getting snapped up, possibly.
Oh, yeah. We have coyotes in our neighborhood. There's a pair that run around, and there are a bunch of missing cat posters that are popping up all the time, and I just really want to write on all of them. It ain't around no more. Ain't no one gonna find that cat.
Being the uplifting neighbor that you are.
Hey, the truth hurts, but it should also set you free.
And it does. So we left our previous house behind, and it is currently under contract. So yay for that. I'm going to give myself a little clap. That's a happy news. And there we had some insects, but nothing, too big. It was just, but it was constant at certain points of the year. It's like, okay, it's warm. They're going to try and come in, and they did come in, and we, regularly kill things, squash things. It's just how it is. So we're at the new house, and we definitely see, wasps are surrounding the house, and we'll have to deal with those in certain areas, and spiders and whatever else outside, but nothing really inside. We've been pretty lucky so far, so I'm just counting the days until we see our first critter pop up and how we deal with it. Well, that happened to be, this past Wednesday, I think. I'm downstairs here, which is my office and studio. And my daughter is in the next room, which is basically a big play space. She's just hanging around in there, watching TV, playing a video game, whatever she was doing. I'd been in here working. I went to the bathroom, came back in. I see under the table, scooting away, a little lizard. Little lizard friend. This is something we saw at the old house, not inside, but outside. And they would, scurry away pretty quickly. They're even smaller than this one. This one was, again, maybe 4 inches long, probably 3. It was pretty small, but it was inside, and that's not cool. So I immediately I'm like, oh no, and it crawls right underneath this entertainment center that the previous owners had that I now have in here, which is blocked off on every side but the front. So it crawls under there and is just there,
watching you.
I mean, basically, but I'm also like I can't work in here with that under there. I'm not that man. I can't do that. This is not okay. So, okay, then what do I do? Okay, well, let's get out the old flashlight on the phone and look under there and see if I can see it. And look back there at the very, very back. I can see like the shadow of it. And I just like, it's staring at me. I know it. Just laughing, just like, haha, I own this room now. Puny human.
I've peed on everything.
I mean, I don't know where lizards pee and when, but sure,
on everything.
Probably. Okay, well, then it owns everything in this room. Congratulations, lizard. So, I have to come up with a plan. I have to get this thing back outside. This is a, 3-level home. This is basically the basement. And it does lead right outside. Like, there, you go around the corner here through that playroom, and there is a door that goes right outside. So I'm like, okay, I can get it there. I can corral it outside. It'll be gone. Okay, so that's my plan. How am I going to do this? I'm going to need a lieutenant. I yell my daughter's name. Get in here. Okay. Comes in. Okay, so a lizard got in here. What? A lizard? And she's immediately like, I thought she's going to jump out the window. It's like, that's...
Did it pee on anything, Dad?
Apparently you're the only one that is concerned with lizard pee, because none of us asked the question, what did it pee on?
Well, that's because you guys are all lizard noobs.
Sure. You can call me a lizard noob. I am a lizard noob. I've never had one in my home. I've never owned one for like a pet or recreationally. So yes, I am a lizard noob. So she's cool with whatever I've got at this point. She's like, my schedule's free. I don't have anything going on. So I grab some of my son's Hot Wheels track, which is pretty rigid. Okay. So I grab that. I come in with that. My daughter just laughs at me. She's like, what are you going to do with that? Like, what's he going to do? Play on it?
He's going to race.
Yeah. This is my brilliant idea. I've been waiting for one of these things to get inside. Now my plan can begin. Try and launch it. It just splatters. It's like, oh no, I made a horrible mistake. There's now lizard everywhere. The pee is no longer a concern.
That's lizards. They get their urine and their guts all over everything.
That's what they do. They move in. They pee everywhere. They explode. And then it's like, haha, that human failed. Lizards win again. So I have her with the flashlight. I have her watching it. Okay, keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it. Oh, actually, first, no, that's not true. I did not get the Hot Wheels track first. The first thing I got was the vacuum, and she said, "Dad, are you gonna suck it up?"
It's like the cockroach all over again.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it works on a cockroach. Why won't it work on a lizard?
For those of you just joining us, Jason once, with such glee, with the same level of detail and tone of voice as I've heard many a hunter describe their capture of a 5/10 point, depending on where you live, point buck. Jason once hoovered up a cockroach, took it outside, threw it on the ground, and just ran away.
Actually, when you suck them up with the vacuum cleaner we have, they just shred on impact. Like that what I was worried about with the lizard. As soon as my daughter mentioned that, I was like, you know what? Okay, vacuum's probably not the way to go. Let's find a different way to get out of here then. So that was when I got the Hot Wheels track. And she is watching it with the flashlight, giving me every 5-second reports. Yep, still there. Yep, I can see it. Yep. Nope, it's still there. It's fine. I'm going to take over. I need you to get on the chair. So if it scurries out of there, you don't freak the hell out. Or if you do, it's not going to touch your foot or anything. And so it's not a genuine freak out. So she does. And I get under there and I'm like poking around at it, but not trying to touch it. Like, okay, if I get close to you, you're going to have like this sense of like, oh God, he's trying to get me. Okay, I'm going to come out. And okay, keep poking and prodding. And I'm saying all this stuff out loud, which is for my benefit, but also my daughter's, because, you know, she's in here. She deserves some entertainment while this is happening. And so I'm saying, okay, you don't want me to actually touch you with this thing. You better move, because if I touch you, you're going to freak out. And sure enough, as I can feel myself barely touch its tail, and it freaks out. It jumps around under there, comes scurrying out, and gets underneath something else in here. And I'm just like, okay, watch it. I go get a series of framed pictures, which we have not put up yet. I go outside, and I basically make a human Hot Wheels track to block it in. So if it goes out of this door of this room, it can't go into any other room or upstairs or anything. It gets corralled into this track that will then take it outside. And of course, there's like little gaps where it easily could have gone, but I'm like, this is foolproof. So I get that set up. I tell her, okay, now you go towards the door. It's going to come towards the door, hopefully not too fast. We're going to move this, and it's going to move, and I'm going to like try and corral it. And this is where the training I didn't know I had to be a lion tamer took over. Because we move it's a yoga mat, and I move that, and it's under there, and it, you know, looks around like, oh crap, they found me. Okay, I should go this way. And as it tries to dart the wrong direction in my mind, I have the flashlight trained on it, which isn't necessary because it's not that dark. But I have the flashlight on it, and I use the Hot Wheels track and like tap it, and like keep tapping the ground. I'm like, no, go this way. No, here. Hey,
okay,
yeah.
Little lizard shepherd action going on. I like it. I can dig it.
And it's working. Like I'm doing it. I'm not touching it, so I'm not freaking out too much. But I'm directing it. I'm telling it, no. You need to go this way. You need to go this way. And so we get it out of the room. Okay, now I need you, talking to my daughter again. I need you to hold the door open. Now listen, don't open the door the whole time because we have wasps around and everything. The last thing we need is a wasp flying in here while we're trying to get a lizard out, and then we're both freaking out, and we don't need that.
I thought 2 lizards were going to come in.
The bear comes in. It's like, oh, okay, that's probably worse than a lizard. Let's just it gets the downstairs now.
Well, I mean,
you
it
live
is
here.
The den.
Just the rim shot was so soft and so silent because that joke was so bad you couldn't hear it. But that's what that was. That was a very, very quiet rim shot for you. So I tell you need to go to the door. And you need to hold this door open when it's time. But I also, again, know that if it goes towards her, she'll freak out and she'll abandon her post. So I say, okay, bring a chair over there, stand on that chair, and then push the door open. I can open the door. I got this. And she's really getting into like having a job and like something to do on this boring summer day. So I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. So get it going again, get it corralled. All right, I'm going to start poking at it again. And this is where I was like, okay, I don't want to touch you, but you're going to force me to. And I did, and it freaked out. And it jets all over the room, but it's going in the general direction. So again, doing my tap, 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 tap thing. Come on. I look like a blind man, not holding his cane. It's like, I'll just take whatever I can find. Hot Wheels track, sure. So, corralling it towards the door, and again had to jab it a couple of times, and it did not like that. And so once we got to the door, it sat there and, as if escaping from Shawshank, took one last look back. It's like, I'm not going anywhere. I live here now. And I jammed it again and said, no, you do not. And it kind of like somersaulted out the door. It didn't like just, I thought it would scurry, but it did not. So, yeah, it went out, and I told my daughter, okay, close the door, and we're done. The lizard is outside. It's probably gotten back in by now. I don't know where they're coming in. We'll find that another time, but this is done. My daughter and I kind of have a post-game discussion of how crazy that was. She talks about how awesome it was, how I was doing the tap-tap thing, and of course has to go up and tell my wife about it because she can hear us, screaming things from downstairs. She's just like, what were you guys doing down there? I was on a call. So, yeah, it gave us something to do. It was my first critter in this house. So it was a productive day.
Awesome. I love it. I am a big believer that man and animal should live together as one, and that these little conflicts between us make us respect one another better. That lizard's going to think twice before it comes into another human's home. You now have a plan of action. You are now more independent. You feel like you can kind of handle bigger foes. Now you've leveled up to level 2, which is awesome. No more grinding cockroaches for you, Jason. I'm just wondering if after you kicked it out of the house, you looked at your daughter and said, we did it. We drained the lizard.
See, you don't deserve the rim shot for that one. That's... you tried too hard.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
You're a try-hard.
We gotta try hard. Some things don't come easy to us. And by us, I mean me.
Not all things, but, lizard corralling is definitely now on my resume. Should I ever need to use one again?
Oh, who knows? After the complete downfall of our socioeconomic systems, lizard wrangling might be far more profitable than web design. We'll be using them for their meats and their hardy leathers.
I will say I've been playing too much Zelda Tears of the Kingdom recently, and my thought immediately went to, what can I harvest from this thing? Can I get a good tail out of it? Could I fuse that onto something to make a sweet weapon? No, you can't. This has to go outside. Stop it, you fool.
The fun part of this is I've have to come up with follow-up story, because that's how the tit for tat of this podcast works, but I have too many critters stories. I've killed a lot of bugs. I've thrown a lot of bugs out. I've dealt with snakes. I've dealt with rats. I've dealt with mice. I've dealt with spiders. I don't know where to go from here. I could tell you the story about how a cockroach and spicy food almost did me in.
Gross. Sorry for everybody, but yes, I want to hear about that.
All right. So this was when I lived in Australia, where every critter has eaten a Mario mushroom and grown to twice the size of the American equivalent. So the cockroaches and the spiders and everything, they're big. And my roommate at the time was an absolute sigler when it came to bugs and critters.
What the hell does that mean?
I didn't want to say the word pussy, so I said the next best thing.
Disagree, sir. I'll have you know I corralled a lizard. And that is not a euphemism this time.
Stop corralling that lizard, you're gonna go blind! So we had gone out for hot pot the night before, which I've talked about the essence of hot pot. It's spicy water in which you dip meat and you eat a ton of it. So it's a bunch of meat, it's a bunch of noodles, and then a ton of leafy greens. There's a lot of specific leafy greens that we don't particularly eat here in America that people like to boil in their hot pot. So the entire meal is just rented. You don't own anything. So the next day, we were getting ready for our day, and I'm getting ready to get in the shower. I've stripped myself nude, and I'm there in all my resplendent glory getting into the shower, and I hear from the other room, Shitty! Shitty! Because that's how Sigglers call for shinnies to come to help them.
It's not. That is a bird native to Australia. And not one I've ever met personally.
And I'm like, dude, I'm getting in the shower. He's like, there's a cockroach, you gotta kill it. And I'm like, I really don't. He's like, you need to. And so I grab my towel, wrap it around me, and I'm like, all right, where is this sucker? And he starts pointing into the other end of the room, and there's a cockroach up against the floorboards. So I am getting down in my hunter stance, and I'm stalking up on it, and it notices me, and so it starts to run parallel to the floorboard. And so I'm doing a little side shuffle to keep in front of it, and it goes behind this little end table that we had there, and it goes around the other side of the leg, and I stick my head over there, and it's like, ah, crap, I need to go back. And it goes back the other way. And so we're like Tom and Jerrying back and forth around this thing a few times, and then I realize, wait, I'm smarter than this. I can just do this! And I slammed the table into the wall, smushing the bug. However, that impact was enough to just unleash enough of a secretion? It wasn't poop, but it was like all the spice had decided to, do a little frosting action before the big event. And yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta go. So I ran back in the shower or into the bathroom, and I pooped for like 20 minutes as everything must go. And then I took a shower, and yeah, that was a day that happened to me.
So your master animal tame, yeah, master Beastmaster, Steve Shitty Beastmaster. Yeah. Just don't ask him to exert himself too much, lest he shart in his towel.
Depending on what I ate the night before. I think that if Conan the Barbarian had had a night of hot pot, and he were fighting the giant anaconda around the lady chained to the wall, and he smashed it with his club, a little pre-poop would come out.
It paints a vivid picture. I'll give you that. You do a good job of, I was getting in the shower, so I was in a towel. I went out, I got in my hunter's stance, which in a towel, there's no way you're not showing something that nobody wants to see. So there's that, and then you so forcefully squish this bug that you shart a bit and run away, lest you crap all over the carpet or hardwood floor. I don't know what you had. I will say that words I never want to hear out of your mouth again are frosting action. Because frosting's a wonderful thing. It is a joy. It is a great thing whenever it is mentioned. The way you use those words make it something I don't want to hear again.
I am the king of the metaphors.
Sure. We'll go with that. But don't.
Long may I reign.
Short may your reign be. Off with his head.
No, I need that. That's where I keep my metaphors.